Deep breathing. Just feel that breath going through your body. On this breath, I want you to breathe in and I want you to hold the breath. A moment of silence as we hold the breath. Breathe it out. Let's breathe in again, way down deep, hold the breath. Breathe it out. Let's do that one more time. Way down deep, hold that breath in a moment of stillness. Now we're going to roll our head on our neck. Just let your head go. Just let it roll around. Relax the neck. All the tension of the week, just let it go. Just let it go. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're just letting all the tension out of our neck. It's loose and limp, loose and limp. Now I want you to get as tense as you possibly can by squeezing your shoulders right up to your ears. Feel all that tension in your shoulders. I want you to push, push, push. Now let them go. Let's do that one more time. We're pushing our shoulders right up to our ears. Harder, harder, harder. Now let them go. Now we're raising our hands right up to the ceiling. I want you to feel that stretch from the base of your spine up through your back, your neck, your hands, all the way up, all the way up. Keep stretching, keep reaching, stretch as straight as you can. Now our hands are going to float downwards, but very slowly, because it feels like our hands are weightless. It's almost like the air is filled with snow and we can't push our hands down through the snow. Our whole body is weightless. If a breeze came along, we would just blow sideways. We feel completely weightless, completely free. Feel how your body feels with no weight. You're just floating. Now I want you to take a deep breath into your chest. And what we're going to do now is we're going to rotate on our hips. We're still seated, but we're going around in a circle. Around in a big circle. We're leaning forward, we're leaning to the side, we're leaning to the back, we're leaning to the side again. Just around in a big circle. There may be tension in your back, there may be a sore place. I want you to go very, very gently. Just around and around. We're relaxing, we're stretching, just completely loose and limp. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction, just around and around, just leaning in the other direction, forward to the side, to the back, to the side again. We're just going around and around on our hips, just stretching. Now then, I want you to sit up straight and I want you to just feel your body. What we're doing now is we're just feeling our body, feeling our chi or life force energy. There's no right answers. How does your body feel? Are there any aches and pains in any areas? Do you feel an energy? Do you feel a warmth? Are there places that feel blocked? Let's take a moment to feel. I want you to imagine a bright, bright light coming into the top of your head, filling your body. We're calling it in the name of God, Creator, Great Spirit. This is our chi, our life force energy. It's always circling through our body. It's always there. And now we're going to spend a few minutes just feeling it. We might feel it rushing down our legs, rushing down our arms, circling around our heart. We might feel a warm feeling in our heart. There's so much energy, there's so much light, but it's very delicate. It's like champagne, it's effervescent, but it's constantly filling us. Now we're going to go outside of our heart and see our energy field, which is all around us. So imagine that light streaming out of our heart, creating a beautiful field of light all around us. This is our energy field, and when it's filled with light, it's our aura. Now, this energy field can be thin, it can be very thick. We want it to be as strong as possible. So take a moment and perceive your energy field. If you need to add to it, if you need to have it stronger or thicker, remember there's always light coming through the top of your head. You can beam it out through your heart and make your energy field stronger. So let's do that right now. The basis of chi, or life force energy, is really a high vibrational frequency, and that high vibration rests on our higher, happier feelings. That's what fills us up with chi. That's what repairs our body. That's what gives us motivation and clarity. So I want you to think back over the last week or so and think about all the times you felt a sense of happiness or joy. Now, if it's been a tough week, I don't want you to freak out. I want you to just remember even little moments like a cup of tea, a walk with your dog, a look at the sunset, moments of peace and comfort. So let's just feel that in our heart right now. What does that feel like? Now we're going to give ourselves a little bit more of this beautiful chi. If you did feel stress this week, if there weren't too many feelings of joy or happiness, there's another way to strengthen our chi, to give ourselves more energy. So I want you to put your hands out in front of your heart with your palms up, just like we're going to put an apple or an orange in your hands. But instead of an apple or an orange, it's a ball of energy, a ball of light. I want you to feel that energy in your hands. It may be hard at first. It might just feel warm. You might feel a little friction there. Can you feel that? We're calling in your guides and your angels now to help you perceive your chi, to help you use your chi for your own health, for your own benefit. So feel that energy in your hands. Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it any color? Are you getting any message from it? We say together to ourselves, we say, dearest God, Creator, I accept this gift of love that you have for me today. That's what it is. It's pure love. It's pure energy. And we're accepting it. Now let's go back to our ball of light. Did it change at all in that time? Did it get bigger? Is it warmer? Is it colder? Does it have a different color? I want you to put it right into your heart. And now we say to ourselves, I accept it in my heart and in my life. It's very, very important to check our energy, our chi, and then to always accept more. It may seem silly, like we run automatically, but in a way we don't. We always need to be aware of our energy and we always need to increase it. That keeps us completely well, healthy, motivated, full of vision, full of life. Now let's put our hands once more out and imagine another ball of energy in our hands. Energy or light, however you perceive it. What does it feel like? This is a gift that the universe is giving you today. It could be the answers to a certain question. It could be love from a certain person. It could be prosperity. It could be joy. It could be freedom. What is this gift that the universe is giving you today? Feel the energy. See if you can hear the message. What color is the light in your hands? We say to ourselves, dearest God, Creator, I accept the gift you're giving me today. Now look back at the light in your hands. Did it change any? Is it the same message? Is it a different color? What does that energy feel like? Put it right into your heart. You're accepting that gift. We say to ourselves, I receive it in my heart and in my life. Let's stay in our heart now and feel that beautiful energy. Maybe it feels warm now. Maybe you feel overflowing with your own energy. This is how we really want to feel every day. And remember, you can do that exercise when you're waiting for a light in traffic, when you've got a moment at work. What we're doing is we're feeling our chi just the way we feel our breath, and we're increasing it. We're anchoring ourselves in that beautiful divine energy. This next meditation I'm going to be leading us on is all about letting go of negative energy. One thing we often feel around our family is different lessons, different challenges that we have to deal with. And of course, we get love from our family, we get support. Sometimes the lessons seem to overpower the love and the support. And what we need to do then is to understand the lesson and release. Release any negative energy, release the lesson, release the karma. In the broader picture of ancestral healing, this involves understanding the lesson that maybe many family members have and being able to learn it, grow through it, and release it on many levels, both for ourselves and our family members. Jim is going to be doing that part of it in the second half of our class. I'm going to be focusing ourselves on our own particular trials and difficulties with people in our family. So let's close our eyes because I'm going to be guiding us on a meditation. I want you to take a deep breath. Let's take another deep breath. Feel all that warmth in your heart, all that beautiful energy circulating through your heart. You're just overflowing with energy, overflowing with light. We're calling in your guides and your angels. We're calling in the Creator, the divine energy. And we're going to take a walk out of our heart. Our heart is filled with light, and in front of our heart, there's a beautiful pathway of light. Let's just take a walk on that pathway of light now. Moving out of our heart, down this beautiful bright pathway in the sunlight. We're coming into a meadow with a stream. It's a day with a blue sky and sunshine, waving flowers. We're going across a large meadow on an old path. The path may be used many, many generations. We're going past a stream. We're hearing the birds. We see the trees in the distance at the side of the meadow. But we also start to see clouds rolling in. Just like you would see in England, rainstorms are never too far away. And we see the clouds just start to blow across the sky. More storm clouds come in, and suddenly it's raining. It's just a light mist. So we walk on across this meadow, this open field, trying to get out of the rain. But right now it's just a very mild drizzle. It almost feels good on our skin. We get to the other edge of the meadow, though, and it's starting to come down really hard. It's suddenly raining really hard. We're getting soaked. And as we come into the trees, we see a house in front of us. It's kind of an old ramshackle house. It looks a little deserted. It may seem a little familiar to you. But we decide that we're going up on this porch of this house just to get out of the rain. So we're crossing the forest, coming up to this house, going up the steps, up to the porch, just shaking the water off of us. Oddly enough, the door is open. We open the screen door, we go inside. There's actually a fire going in the fireplace. It's an old house. It seems kind of familiar. We decide to go upstairs to see if there's anyone home. We call out. We go upstairs to see if we can find anyone. Upstairs, we see a long hallway with closed doors all up and down the hallway. We're trying to find a bathroom. We're trying to find a towel. Nobody seems to be at home. We go up to one of the first doors, opening it, hoping to find a bathroom, but what it is a bedroom. And there in front of a window, we see someone staring out the window. We suddenly realize that they're familiar to us. It's someone from our childhood, but they haven't seen us yet. They're just staring out the window. This can be someone who's already passed. It can be someone alive, but it's someone from your childhood, someone that you don't feel you have any finished business with yet. I want you to spend a moment in their presence, just looking at them and feeling their energy. Suddenly you're back with them. What does that feel like? How does your body feel in the presence of this person? They still haven't turned around and looked at you, but how does your body feel? Do you get tense? Does your throat tense up? Does your stomach tense up? Are you happy? Do you feel worried? How do you feel in your body? Your angel is right by your side. Your angel is helping you release any karma with this person. You may feel a combination of love and all kinds of other feelings. Now you walk closer to this person and they turn around. Suddenly they're looking right at you. What do you feel? What's the first thing that you feel? Your angel is right there to protect you. You're looking at their highest self, their soul. They can't hurt you. They can't argue with you. This is the moment where you can ask them questions like, why did you do what you did? What did you mean when you said this? You can even ask them for an apology. Remember, you're completely protected. I want you to do this now. Your angel is here to make you strong, to protect you. If the person starts telling you how they really felt, I want you to listen. If you need to get more distance from them, if you need to ask the angel for protection, go ahead. Now, this person is asking you, soul to soul, if you forgive them. Do you also feel a need for them to forgive you? Remember, this is totally your choice. You don't have to forgive them. It doesn't make you a bad person. You may not be ready to let that go, but if you are, let your angel handle it. Say that you accept it and you are ready to forgive. Remember, forgiveness can be a form of simply letting go of karma. It doesn't excuse what anyone did. It's just letting go. Now they're reaching out and they're giving you a little ball of light. This is from their highest self, acknowledging that you had a karma together, that you shared love, unconditional love at some point. You can choose to take that light and put it in your heart, or you don't have to. It's up to you. Now they turn around and look out the window again, and your angel is guiding you to the door. Right by the door, the angel is helping you take off a veil or a net of all the negative thoughts, feelings, memories, associations you've ever had with this person. You let it drop to the floor, you step out of it, you're completely clean. You've released everything with unconditional love, and now the angel escorts you out the door and you shut the door. Now you're in the hallway. You walk down the hallway to another closed door. Let's open that doorway now. There's a person in a rocking chair sitting in front of a fire. It's another person from your past. Living or dead, they might still be alive. You might see them every day, but this is someone that you need to resolve an issue with. Once again, you're seeing the back of their head. They don't know you're here yet. I want you to stay still and just feel what their energy does to you. You're in the same room with them. You're looking right at them. Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel tense? How do you feel? And how does it feel in your body? We're coming a little bit closer, but your angel is right by your side. Remember, we're going to talk to the highest self of this person. Your angels are protecting you. Now they rise up out of the rocking chair. They hear a noise. They suddenly turn and look at you. What does it feel like to look right into their eyes? Is there fear? Is there relief? Is there joy? Is there anger? Remember, you're totally protected. What do you feel? Because you're totally protected, you can now tell them anything you want to say to them. You can say how they affected you. You can get angry at them. You can find out why they did certain things. Whatever you want to say to them right now, this is your moment. You're totally protected. Sometimes people will tell you what was really in their hearts when they did a certain thing or said a certain thing. And we understand. We may not forgive exactly, but we understand. We understand the pain, the hurt, the negativity they may have come from. Let's just spend one more moment in this space. If you need any wisdom about this situation, remember your angel is right there. You can ask them for wisdom. Now, this person asks you to forgive them. Again, it's your choice. But as we forgive, what we're basically saying is, thank you for the lesson. I'm finished. I'm ready to let this karma go. But you don't have to if you don't want to. It's not either bad nor good. Just go by your feelings. Now they're reaching out with a ball of light. Again, you can accept that light. And remember, it's just pure light. It's whatever unconditional love they were capable of. That's all it is. It's completely pure. It's from God. You can accept it if you want to. You don't have to. Now they turn back towards the fire. And suddenly they just start disappearing. They're just fading. The whole karma is fading. They're fading, just right out of reality. The air is clear. They're gone. The angel takes you back to the doorway. And once again, there's a veil over you like a net. It has all your memories. It has your past associations, your fears, your hurts, your sorrows, your wounds with this person. Let the angel just pull it off of you now. Just sliding off of you. Now it's just lying on the floor. You're completely full of light. The angel guides you out of the door, and you shut the door behind you. You're in the hallway again. Down at the end of the hallway is a bigger door. You start walking towards it with your angel. It's a big, heavy wooden door. You open the door, and there's someone in front of you that you had such strong feelings for. Maybe you loved them, you hated them. The feelings were intense. Again, they don't see you. In fact, they're asleep on the bed. And you can go around and look at their face because they're sleeping. I want you to take a moment to just look at their face and see how you feel to be in their presence. How does your whole body feel? Do you tense up? Are you glad to see them? Is there remorse or sorrow? Are you afraid? Take a look at their face. Your angel is standing right beside you and protecting you. Now that person wakes up and slowly opens their eyes and looks at you. But you're completely protected. How do you feel with that person? Remember, this is your moment. This is where you can say to this person everything you've always wanted to say because you're completely safe now. So let's do that now. Do you want to ask them a question and get an answer? Your angel is standing right beside you. If there's something you don't understand or you don't feel complete about, ask your angel for wisdom. Now, this person is asking you to forgive them. Once again, it's your choice. It's not good or bad either way. It's just up to you. How do you feel? Now they're handing you a ball of light. Once again, if you feel safe to take it, you can. If you don't, you don't. Don't worry about it. Now, this person that you have felt so many feelings about, maybe anger, fear, even love, whatever these strong feelings were, this person now closes their eyes and goes back to sleep. And you walk back towards the door. Your angel helps you off this netting, this veil over you of all the memories you have with this person, all the pain, the wounds, the unanswered questions, even the happiness, the joys, the fears. We're taking it off of you so that you can start anew, so that you can feel healed, so that the light can completely fill you now. So let it just drop to the floor. You're deciding to let it go now, and it's just dropping to the floor. You step out of that veil, that net. And as a pure light human being, you walk right to the door. You walk out of it with your angel, and your angel shuts the door. You go back down that long hall, down those long, creaky stairs, through the living room, the empty living room with the fire still going. You look out the window and you see the rain is stopping. It's just dripping outside. The angel opens the door and you walk outside, over the porch, down the steps, onto the grass. You see the trees swaying, all the droplets of water falling on you in the breeze. The angel leads you back to the meadow. You feel different. It's hard to explain, but you just feel different. You feel lighter, you feel free. And at the edge of the forest, as you enter the meadow, you look back at the house. It looks so familiar. And now suddenly it's just dissolving in light. You blink your eyes and you suddenly realize there's no house there anymore. It's all gone. It's just forest now. Your heart feels full of light. Let's walk across the meadow now. The sun's starting to come out. The drops are sparkling on the wet grass. The birds are starting to sing again. Stream is flowing right next to the path. The sun comes out more and more out of the clouds, and suddenly the path in front of you is just bright sunshine. We're calling your guides and your angels. We're allowing you now to step into a whole new reality after this transformation. You step on this golden path. You accept all the healing of your guides and angels, of the divine energy. You step right back into your heart. Your heart is just flooding with light. You feel that light, that warmth all throughout your body. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take another deep, deep breath all throughout your body. Just breathe out everything we've experienced and feel that beautiful warmth in your healed heart. We're calling your guides and angels to provide you with continued healing and wisdom as you release all these feelings from the past. Another deep breath. You feel ready. Just slowly stretch, open your eyes, come back to the room. We're going to have a break now of about 5 minutes. And I want you to know that we are interested in your comments and your questions, any experiences or observations. We're just going to save that for the end of the class. And thank you all for bearing with us. This is our first time with this new security class. I think there are a few glitches, but bless you all. And now we're going to take a 5-minute break. I guess a little bit longer. We'll come right back on the hour and be ready to work with Jim. So thank you all. This gives you a little bit of time to maybe write down some of the feelings you had or the experiences you had. Let's come back right around 3 o'clock Pacific time, and we'll be ready for Jim's meditation. So I'm just going to go off the video now, but we'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Hi, can everyone hear me? Abby, can you hear me? Yes? Okay, good. Because I couldn't hear you. All right. So I hope everybody's enjoying their day. And that was a really good meditation that Abby just put us through. And for those that don't know me, my name is Jim McCarthy, and I've been working as a spiritual teacher for about 15 years now, 10, 15 years. And one of the things I love to teach about is ancestral healing and go through like different types of healing meditations with it. And the reason is that I've found over the years that it's one of the most powerful ways to heal very quickly because it's multi-generational healing. Meaning, like if you look at the meditation that Abby just took us through, we went through, I believe it was 3 people, okay? And with each one of those 3 people, we had feelings come up. We had thoughts, we had beliefs about, the experience. We had unresolved emotions and based on an experience or multiple experiences with just one person, okay? And in that meditation, as we become present with it and we bring light to it, and we kind of just surrender and let go and let the light lead us through the healing, that relationship gets healed or a part of it gets healed. But the most important thing is what we are holding inside of our own body gets released. And the thoughts and the judgments and the perceptions that we were holding in our mind sometimes get shifted. And with that shift comes the healing. Healing is really nothing more than a shift of perception or a release of karma, and when I say karma, what I'm talking about is unexperienced, something that wasn't experienced fully. So if you had a big upset with like a grandma or a grandpa or an ex-wife or an ex-husband or something like that, and that was left unfinished, then there's still a part of it usually that's alive within you. And there's still judgment that's alive within you. And there's still a bunch of perceptions, right, that are alive within you. And they just don't go away. They just continue on until they finally reach light. And when the light reaches them and we surrender to the light and let it go, then miraculously, it just gets lifted out of us, okay? And underneath those perceptions and that stuck energy is peace. And we feel a sense of release, okay? So in the last meditations, we did that with 3 people. And the meditations we're going to do at the end of the class, we're going to do it with probably thousands of people simultaneously, okay? And the effect is that all of it is released from all of the relationships throughout all time, including your past lives. And it's released like more, collectively, and it affects every being along that path. So when you look at ancestral healing, let me start with something that I learned as a child. When I was a child, my guides would come in and they would say, "It's done unto you as you believe." And I was like, 8, 9, 10 years old. But I remember this. I remember it really clearly. It was like, "It's done unto you as you believe." And I was like, what does that mean? I didn't even know what a belief was, right? And I heard, "You'll see." And I was like, okay. But that was kind of like the mantra that I got as a kid was, "It's done unto you as you believe." And I was like, okay. And so fast forward to when I was about 20 years old, I was studying with one of the most well-respected hypnotist in the world. And he was curing cancer, he was curing alcoholism, he was curing all of these things with 1 or 2 sessions of hypnosis or just talking with them, He didn't even hypnotize you. And so I went up for an advanced course with him, and we were all sitting in his living room. And I was, like I said, like 20, 21 years old, somewhere like that. And he looked at us all and he's like, I bet you all came here secretly hoping that I'd hypnotize you and take away all your problems. And I was like, inside of me, that little part of me was like, yeah, that would be great. You know, I've found the mother lode here. He can like erase all my problems. And so I was like secretly hoping he would do that. And he's like looking around the room and he's like, I got news for you. If you wouldn't already hypnotized, you wouldn't have any problems. And he said, hypnosis is a belief system, and a belief system is hypnosis. And they go round and round and round. And so then here I am, you know, years later, it's done unto as you believe. And now all of a sudden it's like all of your suffering is due to your belief systems. And I was like, shit, right? Then I studied mysticism later on, and this guy was bringing people back from life, and he was healing all these people. And he was a very well-known mystic. And at the end of his life, he said, all healing is nothing but a shift of perception, right? And I thought, okay. And then one day I was on my way to the gym, and this was probably about 10 years ago. And I was really upset because someone had wronged me, right? And I had taken a position that they had wronged me, and I was upset with them. And I was talking to myself on the way to the gym, and I was really upset. And all of a sudden, my guide stepped in and said, do you really know that what you're saying is true? And I said, no. And they said, will you let go of it then? Yeah. And I let go of it, and then immediately I was at peace. Immediately my mind went quiet. Immediately my body felt better, okay? Because the perception, whether you're perceiving something on the good side, like, you know, Santa Claus exists when you're a child, and, you know, when you believe that, you experience a reality that's not truth, but it appears very real to you. You know, like you believe in Santa Claus, so all of a sudden you get excited around Christmas, and you go to the mall and you see Santa Claus, and you're like, is it the real Santa Claus? And you check with your parents to make sure it is, and you're excited because it's magical, okay? And you hallucinate how he gets around the world and what he's going to do for you, but there's excitement and there's magic in the air, okay? And you go to the toy stores with your parents, and you might be in their cart, and everybody's parents are shopping for toys. And your parents might even be shopping for toys. And you're watching TV and you're seeing commercials about what toys are good to get your kids for Christmas. But you're ignoring all that because it doesn't match what you believe. So it's called a negative hallucination. You won't see anything that's in contradiction to what you believe. And so you deny that it exists, really. You just don't see it because it's like, oh, well, that can't exist because Santa Claus brings the gifts. And then one day, somehow that belief shifts in you, and not only do you start seeing things clearly, but your emotional body changes as well. All of a sudden, all of that magic is gone. All of that excitement's gone. All of the hallucinations are gone that go with it, okay? And I'm saying this about Santa Claus because most of us had a positive experience believing that, but it still wasn't true, okay? Now, let's go into a belief of lack, okay? Where there's not enough. I don't have enough, okay? And with that belief, there's fear. And with that belief, we deny the existence that there's abundance. We deny the reality that there's abundance. We can't see it. We can't see there's abundance of money. We can't see that there's an abundance of food. We can't see that there's an abundance of wisdom and it's infinite, and there's an abundance of opportunities. All of that is gone. And all we worry about is, will we have enough to meet our bills next month? Okay, because I don't have enough. Okay, and as long as we believe that, we attract what we believe. Okay, And Christ even taught about that. He says, to those that have, everything will be given, and to those that have not, nothing will be given, and what they have will be taken. Okay, and I'm not quoting him exact, but what he's teaching is done unto you as you believe. Okay, so how does this go into ancestral healing? Okay, and the reason why ancestral healing is so profound is because we think we're born into this world with a clean slate, like we're separate than everything else in this world, and you know what? We're in this world, but we're not really part of the collective consciousness of this world. And that belief is erroneous, right? It's not correct. The reality is that when you have a belief, okay, like let's go back to this belief in lack. If someone has a belief in lack, or a belief that money's bad, or a belief that, you know, money's evil, or something like that, I'm just taking that as an example. And when they have children, okay, if that belief's alive in them, okay, and meaning alive, it has emotion, okay? When you believe something, you give it your life force, and therefore it comes alive, okay? And if it's alive and it has emotion and they believe it's truth, they have to pass it on. They can't not pass it on. So they pass it on by imprinting their kids with the same energy, okay? And it's not their fault, by the way. They were imprinted with that energy when they were born. It just goes from generation to generation to generation until it gets healed. And it doesn't get healed until light comes to it, or until truth comes to it from someone who's holding light. Okay, so they're lies and they're misperceptions, but they go from generation to generation to generation to generation. And we think that we're not born into that, but we're born with all of that consciousness already like imprinted into our body. So if there's hatred of a certain sex in your lineage, you might have a predisposition to feel that, okay? And if you look at collective consciousness, it's pretty prevalent. You know, people don't like the opposite sex, or they're afraid of it or whatever. But this is all based on experiences and karma that have not been cleared. Okay, so there's also family traits that get passed from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And to me, that just means patterns of behavior. Okay, and there again, it's belief systems. Okay, so I'll give you an example of that. I had a guy that came to me when I was running a business about 20 years ago, maybe about 20 years ago. And I had a really somewhat large manufacturing facility. And he had a machine that cleaned the lymph system, and it helped clear blood clots. And somehow he found me, I don't remember how, but he came to my business all the way out in California. He was from a different state. And he says, I want you to help me to manufacture this machine and get it successful, right? And I asked him where he was at with it. And he told me, and I said, well, in order to do that, it's got to be tested, and it's got to, you know, there's like a lot of heavy lifting that needs to be done. And I'll do it if you'll give me exclusive licensing to distribute it and to manufacture it. And I'll give you X amount of money per unit that I sell. And he was an inventor. He was very smart, but he knew nothing about business. And he said, no, I can't do that. I'll do it for like a year, but after that, no. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, you're asking me to basically take this from a concept to something that's going to be, you know, invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into it and make it, you know, out there and a multi-million-dollar product. And so he left. And then, but he was afraid to take the risk. He was afraid of losing his thing. And so he ended up dying, and his invention never really went anywhere. Okay. And then later on, his daughter calls me, full grown lady, and she's like, I saw your business card in my dad's file, and I really got the idea, I got inspired to call you and ask you if you'd help, because I know he reached out to you and I know that he thought you could do it. And I really feel that this thing needs to go through you. So I was like, all right. So she flies out to California with her daughter. And again, I tell her the same thing I told her father. And she goes, well, I can't do that. I can't let this go. And she did the exact same thing as her father, okay? Based on the fear of losing the product, right? Which her father ended up losing it because he died. And so she did the exact same thing. And I was like, wow, that's the same behavior from one generation to the next. That's the programming that goes from one generation to the next. And it's not anybody's fault. They're born into it. And until they clear it, it just operates, okay? So years later, she actually called me up and flew out and met with me again and just gave me the product and gave me the schematics on how to make it and said, do it. And she didn't ask for anything. So that pattern got healed, okay? So with ancestral healing, the only way to heal something is to bring light to it, okay? The light of what, the light is truth, right? There's nothing misperceived in light. It is truth. And since it is truth, when we let go of our perception, it will shift those perceptions into the truth. And in truth, there's no suffering, okay? So if you have hate, behind that hate is a misperception, okay? And if it's in a relationship and you're both hating each other, it's still based on misperception. And until we can realize that this hate isn't of light, so if it's not of light, it's got to be a perception that's causing me suffering that has nothing to do with truth. And when we bring all of those things into light, and we completely surrender to the light and ask for it to heal the hate or take it and cleanse the perceptions and the thoughts and the memories and the judgments and the opinions associated with it, and then just let go, it happens magically. It happens without you taking thought, because you don't need to take thought. You just need to be open, okay? So last time I taught ancestral healing, I think we did like 4 4-hour classes. And Abbi and I are thinking about doing a live event where we do 4 4-hour classes, like one a week. But it's in depth, but it's really good to understand it and to know how to go through the meditations. And there's several ways to clear your lineage. And one of them is as simple as just feeling what hasn't yet been felt. Okay, let's go back to karma. Karma is nothing but something that hasn't been fully experienced, okay? And so, like, I'll give you an example. I was working with one of my friends who's a healer, and he was looking into me one day, and he says, I had a pain in my stomach. And he says, I'm looking into your stomach, and this has to do with your dad's father. I'm like, what do you mean it has to do with my dad's father? I feel it in my stomach. And he goes, when your dad's father was a boy, something happened to him that he couldn't quite comprehend. He couldn't quite process it. He couldn't feel it. And he died with it undone. It was never completed. So it went to your father, and then it went to you. And he said, what I want you to do is just let that feeling that he couldn't feel come up in you. Just let it be experienced in you, and it'll be healed in you, it'll be healed in your father, and it'll be healed in your grandfather simultaneously, even though your grandfather's already been deceased, okay? Because energy gets broadcast from one generation to another until it reaches light. It just stays alive, okay? So we're going to do a meditation in ancestral healing probably in another, 10, 15 minutes. But we're going to be bringing in our children, our kids, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, our grandparents, brothers and sisters, all of our relationships, and all of their relationships throughout all of our time, throughout all of our lives. Okay, so when you can think about that, you're bringing in a whole lot of people, like Abbi just brought into the room. Okay, but you're bringing them in simultaneously. And when you let the light reach all those relationships simultaneously, huh? Okay. When you bring in the light and it reaches all those people simultaneously, and all those people want healing, it has a compounded effect to where if it heals your grandfather, it heals you, it heals your children, okay? It heals other relatives. If you heal something in yourself, it automatically heals your children. If you look at some of these avatars, like Mother Mara, she says, I don't need to see your children. If I see you, I see 7 generations. Because the data goes on for 7 generations. So one of the things that's really neat about learning about ancestral healing is that it's not you. You know, if you've got, you know, thoughts that are disturbing or emotions that are disturbing or you know, things like that, they didn't originate with you. Okay? It's collective human consciousness. And if it's alive and active in you, it is your responsibility to clear it. But it isn't yours, and it isn't your essence. Okay? And as we let those things go, they just dissolve into light, and peace happens naturally. Okay, so when I first started learning ancestral healing, there's a guy that had gotten a download with these prayers for ancestral healing, and I worked with him. And I went to one of his events one time in LA, and this lady raised her hand and she says, you know, I've been doing your prayers for about 6 months, and she had cancer. Okay, and the prayers were just calling in light and then asking the light to forgive all relationships throughout all time of any ways we've hurt each other through thought, word, or deed, knowing or unknowing, please and thank you. Okay, because we create through thought, word, and deed. When we have thoughts, they create things, right? When we do things, they create things. You know, any action produces an effect. Okay, and if we're thinking negative thoughts and doing negative deeds, we're going to have negative consequences. Okay, and if our parents, you know, did a lot of things that were kind of weird, sometimes we have to clean some of that stuff. Okay, it wasn't their fault. Their parents probably did the same thing. I'm not trying to put blame on anyone. I'm just saying if something isn't of light, it needs to be taken to light. And ancestral healing is a very fast way to do that. But back to these prayers, this lady raised her hand and she says, I've been doing your prayers for 6 months. And I got cured of cancer. My brother got cured of alcoholism. And my mom got cured of MS. And I never mentioned their names. All within 6 months for no reason. They just got cured. Okay. And I was like, wow, that really works. Okay. And so Abbi and I just did a seminar in Maui. And a part of that seminar was doing ancestral healing. And we took a group of about, well, the participants from the show, there was about 15 people that went to Haleakala, but there was about 450 people that came in remotely, which means they just asked to be brought in. And we went up on a special day with a full moon with a lot of power, and we did these prayers, and we did a bunch of forgiveness work. And the next morning we woke up and we had a ton of response from the people that were brought in remotely on how they felt it. It shifted them. Some of them were in a bliss state for like 3 days. I mean, it was just a remarkable effect And all they did was give permission to be brought in. They weren't on the phone, they weren't on a Zoom link, they weren't anything, which kind of shows you that when you bring a lot of people into light, it heals them without them having to know the details of it. Okay. And so we got back from Haleakala, and a couple of weeks later, I went and saw my dad. My dad's 90 years old. And he was really not doing so well before this. And we got back, and he's walking without a walker. He's happy. He's clear-headed. He's got a new lease on life. You know, it really helped him. His kidney function raised, everything. And I don't know if it was because of it or not, but it was coincidental. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about relationships and your power as a human being to have free will, because your choices before we do these prayers are going to have a huge effect on how much healing you get. Okay. Or before we do this meditation. One of the things I realize is that when you work with people one-on-one, the light might show you what needs to be healed, but you still need to get the person's permission in order for it to be released. Okay, so if you have major conflicts with your parents, for example, or with your kids, or with your ex-spouse, or with, anyone, as long as you're attached to winning, getting even, making sure they get punished, things like that, usually healing doesn't take effect. Okay. When you're willing to let go of your perceptions and ask the light to help you forgive them and help them to forgive you, then all of the thoughts and perceptions eventually get healed, but so does the energy that's stuck in your body from holding the perception. Okay, like you can't hate someone without holding it in your own body. And when you hold it in your own body, it hurts you, right? And people don't recognize that. It causes you pain. And it's like, okay. And then there's this subtle universal belief that's around there that I need to make sure they're punished. I need to make sure that they get what they deserve. And really, that's not up to us, because we don't understand the long-lasting karma of that relationship. Okay, let's say someone hurt you in this lifetime. You may not know whether you hurt them 3 lifetimes ago. So the only thing that really heals and puts things straight is the light. And the light knows about your relationships. It knows about every thought you've ever had. It knows about every perception you have and the effects of it. And it knows what's the best for your highest good and what it's time to let go of. And all you have to do is give it permission to do its work. Okay, so when we do this meditation, you might want to make the choice, because you have free will, that I really want to heal my relationships throughout all time, throughout all of my lives. I really want to let go of any thoughts, judgments, opinions, memories, or perceptions that I've held that have caused me or others pain. Okay, and all you have to do is want that, and that's it. The light takes care of the rest. The consciousness that comes in the meditation knows how to heal it. We just have to be willing to let it go. Okay, so if we forgive someone else, meaning to release them, and if we release our thoughts about them and our judgments about them and our opinions about them, the light will automatically start to bring into our awareness how we're supposed to see them. Okay, so let me give you an example of that. I was at an event one time with Bratzo, who's a healer in Croatian that doesn't call himself a healer, and he just brings light to groups. And there's no judgment in it. There's no what do they call it? Dogma, nothing. He doesn't talk, he just sends light. But I can communicate with him telepathically to where I get messages. And I'm at this event one time, and there was this lady that was really angry. And a lot of times when there's a lot of light going to come in, people will get angry, people will get frustrated, people will get full of hate. All of these things will start coming up in them because it's time for it to be released. Okay. The light will start pushing it out of them. And this was happening with this lady, and she was really angry. And she thought that we took cuts in line. And I was with this group of people, and we were like, there was like 6 of us. And this one girl in our group said, "Hey, will you hold a chair for me?" I said, "Sure." So I took her bag. She had to go to the bathroom. We came in, and I put a bag next to me, to hold a space for. And so then this lady that was all upset comes in, and she had been accusing us of taking cuts in line. And she's like, "Oh, no, you don't." And she took the bag and just threw it and sat down next to me. But she was raging with anger and raging with hate. And I got scared, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And so I had to start clearing on my fear. Okay. So I started like giving my fear to God, and I was like, "Hey, I give you this fear. What do I do with it?" And I started letting go of this fear, and Bratza was getting ready to come out. And I asked the light within him, "Let me see this as you see this, right? Let me see this the way you see it." Because obviously I wasn't seeing it right, because I was scared and I was upset and I was fearful and angry and didn't want her anywhere around me. Okay. So I was in a negative spot. So he comes in and he starts gazing, and he's looking at each person, and he gets to me and he looks at me, and then he looks at her, and I could have sworn he looked back at me, and he said, "I have compassion for her because she's in such a discomfortable state, and it's all based on lies." And I was like, "Oh." And he goes, "When someone's in that much pain, there's nothing to show them but compassion." And instantly I knew that nothing of what she was thinking or saying or anything else had any effect on Bratza, because he was past those beliefs. He didn't believe it. Okay. But in that instant, I was healed too. I was completely at peace and had compassion for this lady from that day forward. Okay. Because I knew that she was based, just to put it, straight, she was hypnotized. She was believing stuff, and she was angry, and that's what she lived in day after day. And all she needed to do is let it go. Okay. And when someone finally decides to let something go, it's taken. There's another example of a guy named Ron Roth, who was a famous healer. I think I saw him like 10 or 15 years ago. And he was a medium type healer, and one of his guides was Padre Pio, who was very famous. And he would do hands-on healing. And this one lady came up to him in line, and she had like rheumatoid arthritis. She was all like this, really contorted. And he touched her, and he says, "Until you forgive your ex-husband, no one can heal you. Will you forgive him now?" And she said, "Yes." And I think within an hour, she was completely healed, because she was holding all of that stuff inside of her body. And as she chose to let it go, it was gone. So when we do these meditations, recognize that you're a key role. Okay. If you completely surrender and say, "Okay, I'm ready to be healed of anything I've believed or I was born into believing that's causing me pain, my family pain, or anyone pain and suffering, I'm ready to let it go now. And I'm ready to let it get transformed into light and into truth, so that everybody feels better, including me." Okay. And that's all that's really required of you. Okay. Just allow things to be healed. And in this meditation, sometimes things will come up. You'll feel things like sometimes anger will come up, or fear will come up, or old emotions that haven't been fully expressed will come up. And if they come up, just know that we're going to be holding light for you. And there's going to be a bunch of light beings here holding light for you. and you're in a safe place, and that light is there to bring this out of you and evaporate it, just to bring it out of you and release it out of your energy field. Okay. And I also want you to know that when we start this meditation, when you bring in all these relatives, you may start feeling their energy, quote, their energy. What you're really feeling is unexpressed emotion that they had, and the energy of their thoughts, of their perceptions, of their karma. Okay. It's not yours. It won't linger onto you after this meditation, but you're going to be assisting to heal everyone in your lineage. Okay. And as you heal things in your father and your grandparents and their parents and their sisters and their brothers, it's automatically going to be healed in you too, and your kids and your relationships. When something is shifted and healed, it doesn't exist anymore in your life. Okay. And it won't. It just won't again, because once it's out of your consciousness, it doesn't manifest in your life. Okay. So I guess that's it. We're not really doing questions till the end, but like my guys are saying it's time to start the meditation. So any questions you guys have, just jot them down, and we'll have plenty of time for questions after we're done with the meditation. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do in the meditation is we're going to form this grid of light, right? And I'm going to bring in all of the light beings that work with me. Abby's going to bring in all the light beings that work with her. And we're all going to bring in our spiritual guides, our angels, and the light beings that work with you that are special to you. Okay. That's the first wave that we're going to bring in, is all the light beings. They're going to set the grid. Okay. Then we're going to invite our parents in, our spouses, and I'll kind of take you through that in the meditation. And then we're just going to do some releasing work for all these relationships of thought, word, and deed. Okay. And as it's released, the healing comes naturally. Okay. So sometimes, as I said, emotions will come up, sometimes memories will come up, sometimes physical discomfort will come up. Know that it's just stuff being taken out. Okay. And that you're safe. Okay? My job is to hold the energy to the point where everyone is safe and protected, because there's a law called the law of resonance, where when there's light, light will dominate. Okay. When there's a lot of light in the room, it'll dominate. And the light beings that come in for this meditation know exactly how to heal. You don't have to tell them. They know what to heal, they know how to heal, and they do it without you taking any thought. Okay. So I was going to play music with it, but I don't think I'm going to. Okay. I think I'm just going to walk everybody through it. All right. And as I said, this is usually we'll teach this in like 4 separate classes and do different meditations each class. But for this, I'm just going to pick one meditation. Okay. And I'm going to have to check with the guides to find out which one they want me to pick. Okay. So give me a moment here. Okay. They want me to do the prayers. And so I'm going to say the prayers, since you guys don't know the prayers, or most of you don't know the prayers. And I'm just going to say the prayers that come to mind. And if you agree with the prayer, just in your mind say, I agree, I want that. Okay. And that's all that it takes for the prayer to be answered for you, is for you to sincerely want that to happen. Okay? All right. And we're just going to go into it, and it'll probably take about 15, 20 minutes. All righty? Okay. So what I want you to do first is just call in your divine team, which is your spiritual guides, your angels. Some people call in the Holy Spirit, the Golden Sun, Christ, whatever you want to, whatever to you means a light that is omnipotent, all powerful, that's all knowing, and that's loving. Because the light is loving, and all it wants to do is heal us back into the love that we are. Okay. So I want you to call in a light, whether it be Christ or God or the Holy Spirit, to where you know that it knows how to heal, and you know that it loves you. Okay. We want to ask these guides and these angels and these light beings to set this grid of light for the healing of ourselves, our family members, and our ancestors. Some of you will feel the energy. Some of you might see light. Some of you might not notice anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's not working. Okay, now I want you to call in your spouses, your boyfriends, your girlfriends. Your children, your parents, their brothers and sisters, and their brothers and sisters' children, your grandparents, their relationships, their children, their sisters, their brothers, your great-grandparents, and all of your relationships throughout all time and throughout all of your lives. I want you to call them in simultaneously. And I want you just to let this light wash through all of those people and all of those relationships and bring them into this grid of light. Okay, now we're going to start giving the light permission to do some healing. I'm just going to call it divine presence in these prayers. And again, if you agree with these prayers, all you have to do is acknowledge that that's what you want. Okay? Divine presence for my spouse, my children, my parents, my grandparents, all of our siblings, and all of our relationships throughout all time, throughout all of our lives. Please help us to forgive each other completely and totally with your help for any ways we've hurt each other, mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially, or in any other ways through thought, word, or deed, knowingly or unknowingly, throughout all time, throughout all of our lives. Please, God, thank you, God. Divine Presence, please help all people I have hurt, mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially, or in any other ways through thought, word, or deed, knowingly or unknowingly, throughout all time, to forgive and release me completely and totally now with God's help. Please, God, thank you, God. Divine Presence, please help us all forgive ourselves completely and totally for any ways we've hurt ourselves or others, mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially, or in any other ways through thought, word, or deed, knowingly or unknowingly, throughout all times, throughout all of our lives. Please, God, thank you, God. Divine Presence, please help us all let go of any desire to hurt each other, or any need to hurt each other, or to hurt ourselves. Please forgive us those desires and help us to heal into light, into love, into peace. Please, God, thank you, God. Divine Presence, please help us to let go of any thoughts, judgments, opinions, or perceptions we've held against each other or held against ourselves that no longer serve us and that caused us pain and suffering. Please take this from us now and transform it into your light, into your love, into your peace. Please, God, thank you, God. Divine Presence, please help us all to let go of anyone that no longer serves us. Please help us let go of anyone with malintent for us that's trying to harm us. Please protect them from hurting themselves. Please protect them from hurting others. And please release them from my life now. Please, God, thank you, God. Okay, so now my guides are asking me to go into a second phase of this. And in this phase, all I want you to do is sit in this light and sit in this love and allow anything that needs to be healed in you just to be healed and released. If anything needs to be felt fully that hasn't been felt, in order for it to heal in you, just allow it to come up and know that it may not be yours. It could be your father's, it could be your grandfather's, it could be your mom's. Just be a vessel for it to be healed through. It won't hurt you, and it won't have any long-lasting effects, except for it will release it from your lineage. Okay? So now I'm going to put on some music, and I just want you to sit in light for like another 5 minutes, and just let any feelings come up that need to be felt, and just offer them gently to this light and ask the light to heal them and realize that it knows how to heal them. Okay? Can anyone hear the music? No? Okay. I didn't think so. Well, I guess we're not going to do music because it's not working. Okay. So we're just going to sit in the light. And I want you just to relax in the light and understand that the light knows how to heal this stuff. The light also knows how to bring it up to be healed. And just allow it to heal whatever it wants to heal in you now. And know that it knows how to do it. You don't have to tell it. And just give it permission to heal you. Give it permission to bring up anything in your lineage that needs to be healed in you now. And then just be present. bring this light into your body. Anywhere there's tension in your body, bring the light into that tension and just let it do its thing. It knows how to clear blocks. It knows how to clear emotions. It knows how to release things from you that no longer serve you. You might recognize that even if discomfort comes up, it can't hurt you. And if you bring it to light, it will heal. There's no reason to be afraid of it. It's just a feeling. It's just energy. It's not your essence, and it's not who you are. It's just left over from past experiences, from you, from your parents, from your grandparents. And it just needs to be cleansed. Okay, Divine Presence, please bless all of us. Please bless all of our ancestors throughout all time with the highest blessings we can receive now, from light, from love, from abundance. Please bless us mentally with the wisdom and the guidance to heal our problems, to meet our challenges. Please bless us financially with the abundance we need so that we can live comfortably and meet our challenges. Please bless us physically and bring the life force energy of the divine to govern our organs, to regulate our bodies, and to remove anything that's operating in our physical form that's blocking this life force energy. Please bless us all with what we need for our highest good. Please, God, thank you, God. Now I want you to thank all of the ancestors that joined you coming in, and then gently send them back into light. And I'm going to ask the light beings to close down this grid and bring all of the people that came in take them where they need to go now for their highest good. And now the light's going to surround us and just clear away anything else that needs to be cleared. Okay. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. So that was one of the meditations for ancestral healing. And as you can see, if the light's working multi-generational, it's clearing a lot of relationships simultaneously. And it's clearing a lot of karma simultaneously, meaning unexpressed emotion. And it's healing a lot of perceptions simultaneously. And it's one of the highest forms of producing very quick healings for families. Okay. Because we're not the inventor of everything. We are born into this world, and we are born into a collective consciousness that we need to heal, and we also need to accept our lessons and challenges. And we need to learn the difference between what we need to heal and what we need to embrace. But that's another class. Anyway, Abbi, is there anything you want to add?
No, other than thank you all for joining us. Our next class will be in January. Our emails are on the chat so that you can email us with any questions you might have. And we will have live events also. So come to either the website, novalightwork.com, for our live events and seminars, or email us directly.
Yeah, I'm reading one of the questions here. If one's angry, bitter, unforgiving with others, one's got unrepented sin, which needs addressing. That's up to them to address, really. You know, there's laws of free will in this world, and we're responsible to choose to forgive. We're responsible to choose to be kind. We're responsible to do good deeds, to choose to or not. But we can't be responsible for what other people choose. We do have to learn how to protect ourselves from those who don't choose wisely. Okay. But again, that's another class. You know, does anybody have any questions specifically on ancestral healing? Okay, if so, you could raise your hand. Okay.
Also, I want everyone to know that we will be sending out the recording. So if you had any people that you know that want this free class, feel free to share the recording. And our next class will be the second Sunday of January. So that we hope we can all get together then. We will be sending out an email with that topic. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, I see that we're kind of out of time now. Anyway, we're going to we have a class with the second Sunday of January.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And then we also have. Did you think talking about the event we have in Ottawa?
Yeah, the seminar in Ottawa will be March 3rd through 5th.
Okay. That will include some more on ancestral healing, some more on how to heal yourself and others. And it's going to be similar to what we just recently taught, but it's more of an intensive. And then we're also trying to do a seminar, like a four-class event on ancestral healing live in Orange County. We're just trying to find the place to hold the venue right now, to where we would go through a lot more in depth what creates all of this stuff in our lives, and a lot more awareness on how to work with the light to release it. So there'll be many more meditations, different types of ways to do it. But the key is we want to let go of, when you can realize that any part of your suffering is normally because you're misperceiving something, and you may not even realize you're misperceiving it because it's just been part of your life your whole life. But until you kind of reach out and ask the light to heal your perceptions, it doesn't change. It goes back to it's done unto you as you believe. If you keep believing something, it keeps coming, and it just kind of reinforces it. So we got to let go of the energy. We got to let go of the thoughts, the judgments, the perceptions, the memories. I mean, Abby's really, working with a lot of past life stuff. And I remember, one time we went to Ireland on a retreat, and we went to Scotland. We went to this place, there was battle, and I could feel all of the energy from the souls that were in that battle. I could feel all of the fear and the anger and the rage and everything else. And Abby had told me I was probably in that battle in a past life, but it felt very real to me. It was like, whoa, but it also felt like it was part of my past. Okay. But that helped me clear it just by being there. So, all of these things just need to be clean, like cleaning the house. And underneath it is peace. Underneath that is joy. Underneath it is creating something that is more fun for you, really, to say it simply. Anything else from you, Abbi?
It's just been great seeing everybody. Happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you in January. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.